All right, so Tony, I want to get into how you got into acting, but first, I think we've got to talk about baseball. I know you are incredibly passionate about baseball. How did you develop the love for baseball, and who maybe influenced you down that path?
Well, just growing up as a kid, when I came out of my mom's womb, it's just like athletics has always been something that it's just, it was a gift. Some people are born smart, some people are born, fast, and I just had the genetics of just being an athlete. So, and I just started playing little league about 5, 6 years old, and it just continued since then.
Who were the players or even teams maybe that you loved the most as you were growing up?
Oh, being from Southern California, of course, it was the Dodgers. Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, you know, Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon, players like that. Those were my role models.
Now, I imagine you've gotten to meet a lot of them. I know you've kind of engrossed yourself in the game. Who's the person that you have gotten to meet that was incredibly special, and who's someone you have not gotten to meet who you'd like to meet as far as the baseball world is concerned?
Well, the baseball world, I mean, the person I got to meet, was Ken Griffey Jr., from doing the baseball movie Little Big League. And, someone that I have not yet been able to meet. I think I've met everyone, but, it would have been awesome to meet Jackie Robinson. But that would have never happened just because of the years. And, but I had the chance to actually portray him on a show called Cold Case, back in the years. But other than that, I think I've met everyone who I want to meet in baseball right now.
All right, now you mentioned Little Big League, and I told you this over the phone a few days ago, but I absolutely love the movie Little Big League. I think as a kid, it was the baseball movie I love the most, and now that I guess I've graduated in some ways from being a kid, I still love it. I will still sit down and watch the movie, and I wasn't just blowing smoke up your behind. Other than Ken Griffey Jr., my favorite player in that movie was Mickey Scales, and that was your character. So we're going to get into Little Big League, but I'm curious first, how did you get into acting, and how did you get a role in that movie?
Well, this story is unbelievable. From playing, I've always had the worst luck when it came to injuries, and out of high school, was highly touted recruit. Always wanted to go to the University of Southern California, and that's USC out here, and to play football and baseball. And in my senior year, Todd is one of the top, running backs in the city here. I'm thinking I'm going there, and it's the second game of the season. I think the first game I had like 230 yards, something like that. Second game had like 3 carries for like 81 yards. Fourth carry, break my ankle, and in 2 places. Now this is in the mid-early 80s, so there's no internet, there's no YouTube, there's nothing like that. So had an offer on the table to go to attend USC, and after the ankle injury, thought it was going to heal up faster than it did. So I was out. I missed my entire senior year of football and baseball. But, I had guys on my team like Aaron Brown, Sam Arnold, Keith Davis, and Junior Thurman. We had 4 guys who went to USC on football scholarships. And, if that injury did not happen, I think I would have been the 5th. So that's, and I can take it from there. I'll skip ahead. Little Big League. I was working for the city of Santa Monica at the time after college, and a friend of mine, we were driving home, and we passed by this ball field called Marine Park in Santa Monica, and there's like 200-300 guys on the field, and so we just drove up to see what was going on, and the producer and director said they were casting a movie called Little Big League. So instead of just, asking them questions, I went home. I came back in my baseball uniform, and they asked me what was I doing there. And you guys said you were casting a movie, and they said, no, you can't audition. You have to have an agent. And I was like, oh, that's not, just give me a shot. And they said, no, we can't do it. Next thing you know, they get in a huddle, and director yells out. He said, well, can you play? And I said, well, by the looks of things, and I'm not tooting my horn because, if you're going to walk up to a baseball field, you would think you would be dressed as a baseball player. And majority of these guys, they had jeans on and just regular T-shirts. And so I told the guy, I said, hey, you give me a chance. He asked me if I could play. I said, you give me a chance. I told him I'm probably better than everyone you got out here. And that's not being cocky. It's just I was just going by the way they were dressed. So they had an L screen set up, and they were giving each guy 10 pitches, right? So they gave me 5 pitches, so I hit like 4 over the fence, and then he said, okay, on the last one, run to first base. And back in the day, I can run a little bit. So I didn't stop at first. I ran all the way around home, and I did like a pop-up slide, and they said, come here. Can you come to Castle Rock tomorrow? Because this was on a Sunday. And I said, well, what's Castle Rock? They said, well, we just, movies like A Few Good Men or Harry Met Sally. So did that, 4 auditions later. Next thing you know, on my last audition, they asked me if I've ever been to Minnesota, and I said, nope, but I know Kirby Puckett's there. And they said, well, get ready, you're going to Minnesota, and that's how it happened.
It's funny because it seems like, and I remember just from my time at USC, people getting roles in movies as extras, and there was the movie that was John Hamm was in it, and I forget what the movie was called, but John Hamm was the agent representing these 2 kids from India who were trying to make it as baseball players after time spent playing cricket, and I saw that unfold right before my eyes at USC, and they made a movie about it, and they had some of the players on the baseball team serve as extras, but you weren't an extra. I mean, you had lines. You weren't just a guy in the background. So what was it like learning how to act, or was that just something that came very naturally for you? Because if I'm not mistaken, the players on the Twins, there was a mixture of guys like yourself who maybe had more of a baseball background, and then guys like Timothy Busfield who played Lou Collins, who were actors first and maybe athletes second. So what was it like being around some of those guys, and how did you learn how to go about being an actor, I guess?
Okay, well, I was not intimidated because, I'm from Santa Monica, and I went to high school with some of the biggest actors, out there, Charlie Sheen, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Robert Downey Jr. So I was never intimidated by, being an actor. But I was more intimidated by auditioning for the part because I've never sat down and read lines with another person before. So, and I'll be honest with you, the first audition, it sucked. So the casting director said, well, take this home and, go over it. And so, of course, I take it home and I go, well, I might as well just call my buddy. He's an actor. So I end up calling Charlie, and he's like, well, basically, Tony, he read over the sides that I had. He's like, well, if you can't play this part, you should never act again in your life. So basically, he just told me, this is you. This is your personality. This is your confidence. Just have fun, listen, and deliver. Listen to the line and then deliver what they have to say. So that's what happened. But as far as being intimidated, no, I've never been intimidated.
That movie, I guess I don't know if a big storyline, but one of the storylines was the importance of having fun while playing. And if you follow the movie, there's a period of time where Luke Edwards, who played Billy Haywood, was, I guess, taking things too seriously, and there was a big kind of team meeting about just, hey, we got to go back to having fun. But it seemed like it would have been a really, really fun movie to film because you had, and you mentioned this, and we're going to get into Ken Griffey Jr. in a second, but you had guys like Griffey and Randy Johnson and Carlos Baerga and Pudge Rodriguez and Mickey Tettleton, guys like that in the movie. Plus, you were a teammate of Kevin Elster, who played for the Twins, as Pat Corning, the shortstop. It just seemed like it was a blast. Was it as fun to be a part of that as it seems from the outside?
Jared, I can tell you it's one of the best times I've ever had in my life, man, because here's the best part. At the time when that happened, I think it was 94. I think I had $342 in my savings account. So when I got the part, that totally changed. And then being on the set with guys, like you say, like Kevin Elster, Randy Johnson, and just being around those guys, like, hey, this is what it's like. This is what it's like to be in the big leagues. And it was every day. We basically slept there at the Metrodome, and it was just one of the best experience ever, ever. And I don't know if you played sports, but as an ex-athlete, you can just imagine what it would be like to play in the major leagues, and it felt like we were playing in the major leagues.
Of all the non-baseball player actors, so your Timothy Busfields of the world, who is the best baseball player?
Non-baseball player, like as far as professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I know the Twins, like Leon Durham and yourself, and gosh, I forget his name, but whoever played Blackout Gatling, I know played baseball a little bit. Of guys who didn't play, who's the best?
You're talking about from our movie, from Little Big League.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you have Scott Patterson, who played, he played for the, I think, Pittsburgh Pirates. He was the pitcher. He was the cocky pitcher in the movie. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike McGreevy.
That was very good. And Troy Star Tony, our third baseman, he played minor league ball. Kevin Elster at short, me at second. And Joe Lattimore, he was a great athlete. And Dwayne Davis. Dwayne Davis, the guy that got cut.
Jerry Johnson.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you know. His dad is Willie Davis, the Hall of Fame football player from the Green Bay Packers. So, and that's what Castle Rock and the director Andy Scheinman wanted. They wanted guys that actually played. If you could not play, you were not being a part of that movie. So that was that helped me to secure a part in that film. I never acted before in my life.
Did you guys feel like you were a team? I mean, did you guys develop that sort of a camaraderie throughout the filming?
Oh yeah, for sure, Jared. Everyone was very close. I mean, even with the kid, we would hang out with Luke and the mom, Ashley Crow. We would all hang out, in between takes, and then even off the set, we would hang out. We would go to dinners. Steve Nicolaitis, the executive producer, I think he was a big football fan. So on the weekends, we would fly to other cities to go watch that. I think it was the Cleveland Browns at the time. And so it was like one big family. And still today, I talk to everyone. I happen to see Ashley Crow every week because her son is going to be a top 10, 15 pick in this year's draft. His name is Pete Crow Armstrong out of Harvard Westlake. Just an incredible athlete. So to still be in contact with all these people is epic.
So what was it like having a kid manage you? I know this wasn't a real life team, but I imagine just the dynamics. I mean, you have all these grown men around Luke Edwards, who played Billy Haywood. I guess, what was that dynamic like?
I think we were learning from Luke because I think he had more acting experience than all of us in the movie because I think he had done, a lot of stuff before Little Big League. But, we just took it in a manner, like this is our manager. So we're going to play hard for our manager. And we did. And the results, the people that didn't see the movie, I mean, they would have to watch that for themselves. But, we just had a great time, Jared. Great time.
All right, I want to go to that final game, and this is a spoiler alert because I think one of the cool things, as much as it stinks on one hand, but I think is really cool, is that the good guys don't necessarily win here. The Mariners end up winning that final game. Ken Griffey Jr. robs Lou Collins of a home run, and I guess it's just a different ending. I still find myself watching the movie hoping that Lou Collins is able to just get enough on it to get out of the park, but that game, what was it like filming that game? My understanding is it was before an actual game between the Twins and the Mariners. Walk me through what filming that game was like.
Yeah, it was before. I mean, before, the day I hit the home run, remember I hit the home run to put us up?
Yeah, that was Mickey
that was actually
Mickey Scales.
That was at Fan Appreciation Night. And I think they were both filmed Fan Appreciation Night. So we had a packed crowd. And they only gave me, they said, okay, you get 4 swings. So I had 4 swings to hit it out. And if I didn't do it, then they would have to just do it in post. But I did it on the second swing. And he said, just however you want to react. So, and then when we were filming the other scene you were just talking about, same thing. It was a packed house there, And before we were just using extras and setting them up in certain sections of the dome. And we would just shoot and have them in the backdrop so it looks like the whole place is packed. So that's that. I mean, I wish I can do it again. And this is all before cell phones, no cell phones. So no Twitter, no Instagram, nothing like that.
And then for me, Tony, I think I fell in love with Ken Griffey Jr. from that movie. Just the home run he hit and then making that catch, and he just looks so cool doing everything. But you got a chance to spend some time with him. What was that like, and what was the experience like for him? He always struck me as someone who would have fun with that sort of an experience.
I believe all the players, that came on board had a great time. Randy Johnson, Ken, Tim Raines. I don't know if you know Tim Raines was in the movie, but Ken was just exceptionally he was just great towards everyone. I think him and Luke Edwards, they really hit it off as well. And it was just an honor to have someone like that in our movie, because the people I think it was the strike year, because not too many people witnessed the movie in theaters because it was the strike year. I think the season was cut short. And then I think the other movie had just came out before ours, when they were flying around. What's the name of that movie?
Angels in the Outfield.
Angels in the Outfield. Yeah. So we came out like a few weeks after them. But I feel that if people would go online and watch this movie, they would have the same experience that you have and I have, because it is a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good family movie. Great for kids, and just to say we were able to work with some of the best ball players at the time, in that era is, it's epic.
All right, now that's I'd hate to make it seem like that's all you did in your in your career. You've been in so many other movies and roles, and I know you got to be a part of Black Panther, which was I think not only a good movie but a really important movie because of really so many reasons. But having a black superhero, and I remember how important that was, and speaking to people how significant that was. So first of all, just from like a meaning, being meaningful of all the roles you've had, how special is it for you to be a part of that movie with all that it meant beyond just a source of entertainment?
It stems back, Jared, to my motive is treat people the way you want to be treated. And I grew up with some unbelievable people here in Santa Monica, California. And, for someone to give me that opportunity to be a part of a franchise like that, Marvel. So I had a friend named Lisa Satriano. She's only grown our Little League team and Pony League team. And she's a great athlete. And she went on to, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man, Straight Outta Compton, Black Panther. She was the first AD on the movie. And I was at my friend's house, at Charlie's house, and we had just finished shooting TV show movie called Mad Families. And I was staying at his house at the time, and I get a text from Lisa about 12:20 in the afternoon. She's like, "Tony Todd, is this still you?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up, big time?" I'm just having fun with her. So I sent her a photo of myself and Ronald McDonald because, I love having fun, right? And so she writes me back, "Stop it," right? So I just want to know if you want to work on my movie like 3 to 4 months in Atlanta, Marvel's Black Panther, as a stunt actor, right? I was like, "Oh, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable." So she said, "Okay, someone will be contacting you." So I get off the phone, Jared. I go downstairs. I say, "Hey, Charlie, I got to go. I'm out of here. I'm going to Atlanta." He's like, "Yeah, right." And I said, "All right, well, check my room in about 20 minutes. Nothing will be in there, right?" So I have a 6 p.m. flight now, first class, out to Atlanta, and I came home 3.5 months later. And like I say, to work on something like that, to be a part, just the costumes alone, when you put those costumes alone, it felt like, we were in, Africa, and we were going to be a part of, something special. It felt, as soon as I put that costume on, I felt like I was going to be a part of something special. And, we end up winning a, SAG award, which is great, and nominated for, one of the best pictures. And it's just unbelievable, man. It's just, life gives you all these opportunities and it's all about how you know, take care of those opportunities. So you just got to be ready at any time, man.
You mentioned Charlie. I assume you're talking about Charlie Sheen. You mentioned him already. I guess we'll get to that in a second. But before we turn the page on Black Panther, is there another role you've had that has had maybe the meaning that being a part of that movie ended up having?
Yeah, I mean, just to be a part of, to play someone, I had, like I was saying earlier, I had the opportunity to play Jackie Robinson on the show Cold Case. Mm-hmm. And to be able to put that uniform on with that name on the back, and I mean, those 1947 cliques and uniforms, that was, someone sent me that episode like 3 days ago, and because I've never seen it. Because it's hard, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to like sit and just watch yourself, because you're always critiquing everything. And I never watched that episode. I watched it like 3 days ago. And, and I just wish that I would have had the opportunity to play him, in the movie. But, Chadwick Boseman, who actually played Black Panther, he did a great job, so.
All right, so Charlie Sheen, I know he's a close friend of yours. How did that relationship start, and what has he meant to you kind of in your life and in your career?
He's always, like a lot of people, they don't understand. They think that Charlie and I met after he became famous. I mean, we met in grade school, played on the same high school baseball team. And he's just always been that person that has my back, and I've always had his back because of, we played ball together since we were, 10, 11, 12 years old. And he's just been a great guy to me and my family, and vice versa. I've been a good friend to him and his daughters and his mom and dad, and we just have a great friendship.
What's something you'd still like to accomplish in your acting career? What are some of the goals you still have out there?
I would, I'm not really too concerned about, being the leading man or being a star on a TV series or something like that, because I figure if you're on the team does well, we all do well. But I would love to be part of a hit television show, just be one of the characters on a TV show. I would love to do that.
All right, now, I see you around the Rangers a lot, and I know the answer to this, but or at least I think I do, but I know probably most people listening don't. I take it the Rangers are your American League favorite team. I don't know if they've supplanted the Dodgers, and I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to put you in that position to answer that. But what's up with the Rangers ties? How did you become so connected to the Rangers, and why are you around the Rangers so often?
Well, and I believe it was 2014 or 2015. The Rangers had a pitcher by the name of Derek Holland, right? Derek Holland played there around 2014 or 15. So he reached out to me via social media, and he's like, "Is this Tony Todd at Tony Todd 32?" He writes, "Is this you from the movie Little Big League?" He was a fan of Little Big League as well. But the real reason he reached out to me is because he was a bigger fan of the movie Major League. So, the little thing Charlie had in the back of his head during the movie.
Derek had
he sent me a photo of that and said he was a big fan. He's like, "Oh, I would love to meet Charlie Sheen one day." And I was like, "Oh man, I get this every day, right?" But I never received it from, a professional baseball player like that, right? So I showed Charlie the photo of him, and Charlie's like, "Well, if anyone's going to go out of their way and do that to the back of their head like that, we should meet him," because it's very hard for Charlie to go to a game because, as soon as we get out the car, it takes an hour or two just to get inside the stadium, because of, photos and autograph requests, from photos and autograph requests. So we end up going to the game, right? So we meet him afterwards in the locker room, and it was just like two friends haven't seen each other for years, so they hugged it out. The next thing you know, I end up meeting the owner, Neil Liebman, and his wife, Amy Liebman, and we're there probably to about 1 or 2 in the morning, just talking, all of us. And we all became friends, and I'm still friends today with Amy and Neil. And, you know, I had the opportunity to be the bat boy for them last year with Tim Plummer. That was awesome. I think I made Major League Baseball history because I told the umpire, I said, hey, you probably never seen 2 African-American bat boys on one team, right? And I got a big chuckle out of him. And I have that photo. I just think it was epic. So, and I just think the organization is so first class, and they just treat everyone, I mean, very well. I have a friend on the team now, Scott Heineman, who's from, you know, Santa Monica here, and I see the way they treat their minor leaguers, major leaguers, you know, the people that work in their office. I just think they treat them, you know, with the utmost respect, and that's how every organization should run their organization. You know, I have a kid I used to coach named Andrew Brown. I reached out to Neil when Andrew was in college. This guy's very, very intelligent. He played for me at San Monica High School. I said, hey, Neil, there's this kid here. Do you mind if I send you his resume? Next thing you know, I go to spring training this year. I hear someone call me. It's Andrew Brown, and he says, Tony. I said, what are you doing here? I never even knew he was working for the Texas Rangers. So it's just like, you know, and that's why I am such a big fan. They are my American League team, and I have so much respect for that organization and everyone there. So.
All right, finally, Tony, I know you do a lot. I remember in spring training you were doing something on MLB Network, and there's all sorts of Tony Todd material out there, and I can't advocate enough that people consume that. But what are ways people can kind of find you and take in your stuff and get to know more about Tony Todd?
They can all reach me at just at Tony Todd 32. That's on Twitter and Instagram, and you know, I had the opportunity to work for Topps this spring training, and you know, I had the chance to be on Hot Stove with Harold Reynolds, and it was a blessing because I had the opportunity to interview some of the best players in baseball. You know, Mike Trout, you know, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, you know, Todd Frazier, you know, the list goes on and on and on, and it's just unbelievable. Harold always tells me, oh, you sit down front at the Dodger game all the time. I was like, hey, believe me, those aren't my tickets, man. Those are my friends at Melissa's Produce. That's their tickets. And they invite me to the games, and I go and support my team. But then when the Rangers come in town, I'm driving down to Anaheim to support them as well. So that's it.